Hey Joe, it's Colin. Hey, thanks for the questions. And actually, I think this will work out really well if you did this. What I was thinking is fire your questions over to me because I was looking at them going, okay, I need to figure out best way to do this, this, and this. So it gives me a little bit of time to prepare so I can actually go through it, read it, figure out the best way to execute or perform a certain task according to your questions. And then what I can do is I'll video it, fire the video over, run through that, like try and make your updates, right? And what I'm planning is going through step by step. I'm just going to go, ask action, 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 or do this, do this, do this, and then I'll follow up maybe with a little bit of babble about how things work or why to do it, right? Once you've done that, say if you have any more questions, post it up to your server, or we'll create a sandbox, and then I'll just download a fresh copy, take a look at it, and then we can go through sort of the results afterwards so I can see what you've actually done. That would probably work out really well and a little bit more efficiently as well, I'm thinking. But let's start off with this here. So I've got your questions down here. How to replace the default slider with a parallax slider and your 5 images of dance posters. Okay, let's start off with that one. I want you to open up your sliders folder. I want you to find the parallax slider and copy it. Just to Control C, Control V on your keyboard to create a copy of that page. Let me expand this out a little bit. I want you to drag the copy of the parallax slider into the root, just like that. The reason we do that is to update the links to the parallax slider and any of the components inside. So now that we have the parallax slider copy in the root folder, open it. Switch over to Code View and scroll right to the top of the page here. All right, let's just now scroll down just a little bit. All right, we don't have any special style sheets or anything in here we have to worry about. That's good. So we can scroll right down to, and I'll tell you the exact line. We're going to scroll all the way down to where we have the code for the parallax slider. Oh, there it is right there. So down to about line 512. I want you to grab click on the first comment tag like so. Actually, what I want you to do actually is where it says parallax slider background, I want you to click on the word, double click on the word parallax. And then right down here in the bottom, you'll have this, what's called the quick tag selector bar. I want you to click that, right where it says div parallax slider BG. Click it. That's going to select the entire component. While everything is still highlighted in blue, right click and copy. Go back to your, now I want you to open up your index page. Scroll right down to about line 512 or so. There we go. Now you see the full screen slider wrapper. We're going to repeat the process. This time double click on the word full screen. It should say div full screen slider wrapper. Click that. It should be highlighted in blue like you see here. Press delete on your keyboard. Immediately go to the edit and paste. Okay, and that's it. We're done. Now, I want to do a little bit of tidy up before we continue. When I say tidy up, I want you to take your index page and scroll right up to the top. Okay, once again. And scroll down just a little bit to about line 50 or so. And let's get rid of the style sheet for the full screen slider. Just delete that line right there, the full screen slider CSS. Get rid of that. And let's get rid of these 3 script links right here because we're not using them anymore. Okay, like so. And save. And one final thing that's quite important. I want you to open up the library, testimonials or components, and testimonials slider. Then the JS and the jQuery testimonial slider.js file. Okay. Oh, sorry, the wrong one. I'm sorry. Testimonials slider.lbi. Open that up and scroll down to the very bottom. Okay, now I'm going to get you to remove this link right here to the jQuery testimonials.slider.js file. The reason being is this file is only required once in the page. Now the parallax slider and the testimonial slider use the same script, and we don't want to load that script twice. So what we're going to do, because now the parallax slider is being loaded into the page, we need to remove at least one of the scripts that are being used. So we'll delete that. And typically in a template setup where we use the parallax slider as the default with the testimonial slider on the home page, we'll just remove one of those. So if we're moving it around, that's just a quick little update we need to make. So do that, save it. That'll update your index page. And when a page is updated, it shows that nice little asterisk right there. So that means that we need to do the file save. And one thing I'm going to do or show you, and I talk about this in the tutorials quite a bit, is I want you to preview your page in a web browser while you're making updates. Like you notice I have the index page open in the background here. So whenever I make a change, all I really need to do once I have that page open as I'm making changes and updates is just quickly jump back and forth to that page and hit the refresh button in my browser to see any changes that I'm making and make sure that they are the way I want them to be. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of reset, go back to the questions page here, and we'll continue on. Now let's take a look at replacing the images. So we need to take your images, size them to about 500 pixels wide by 280 tall, or here's a better idea. We'll go to the library, the sliders, open up the parallax slider folder, and open up the images folder. Here we have some example images already. If we just sort of double click on them, it'll open in your default image editor. In my case, Photoshop. I don't want to do that. Yeah, let's try something different here. Just trying to find I have a couple of shortcuts or tips that I use for checking image sizes really quickly. Typically, I'll have Photoshop open. I just go boom, open with, and then bang, it opens in the editor and it tells me the size. But let's try this trick. I've just created a new page, file, new, HTML, right? As you can see here. Then you can just drag the image right over, like so, hit OK, flip it to code view and it'll tell you the size right here, right? It's 500 wide by 280 in height. So basically what we need to do is create your replacement images, make them 500 pixels wide by 280 pixels tall, right? Now you can rename them exactly as you see right here, or just call them image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter as long as you name them all in lowercase, like we have here, portfolio, large 1. And do you notice that although I've used multiple words, portfolio, large, and then the number 1, I've connected them with a hyphen. You don't want any any spaces in your file names. And it's best to have the extension as a lowercase as well. Although if it's uppercase, that's fine as long as we link to that image properly. Right? So basically, create your 5 replacement images. Put them into the images folder of the parallax slider. And once you've done that, open up the parallaxslider.lbi file, like so. And to replace an image, all you have to do is just double click on the picture that's already in the page, right? Browse to your images folder, and it's probably going to open to that folder by default, right? And select your new image and click OK, and it'll change right in the page. Or you can flip over to the code view, and the image link is right here. It's called div class of .image, and the link will be the image name is right here. Okay, and you can change it because you're going to put your images in the images folder, so you can just change the name of the image right here, making sure that it's an exact copy. And what I suggest you do in that case is just sort of double click on the image once you've imported it, select the whole thing and copy, and then over here select the whole thing over here and paste. Okay, now that's how to replace the image. You put the images in here, you can replace it in here one of 2 ways, but if you want to have more than the images that we've included, what you do is you scroll on down here until you find this do not edit below this line, right about line 69. And then what I want you to do is go up here and grab this slide to slide, copy, and then right down here above this line and below the slide number 4, make some space and paste. So this will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then what you can do at that case is you can either flip it over and double click on the picture that you see there, or you can just do it in the code view like I showed you. And that's how to add one more picture for a total of 5, and how to change it. And then of course changing the descriptions in the text, just flip it back over to the view here, and the title and the description and the learn more button and the picture, you can sort of see they're all grouped in one little set of tables. Yeah, or div containers. So this is the first image, description, and picture. This is the second and picture, like so, and then you can just sort of carry on updating the information down there. Right. Yeah. So from, like I said, from that point on, changing the pics, I've just demonstrated adding your own pictures. If you need to know how to get the pictures in here, just drag and drop really is all you need to do. I'll just give you an example here. Let me just shut that down here, get this out of the way. Let's say I have a folder with my replacement images in it right here. And let's just say, for example, I've named it image 1. Right? All you need to do is grab this image 1 from wherever it is in your computer, drag it over, and right on top of the images folder, like so, so it drops into that folder. Sometimes what will happen is images will actually end up in the root, and you just have to sort of, they'll end up down here. And you just have to sort of find them and then drag them up into the folder like that. So that's just a weird little quirk I've noticed in Dreamweaver. Okay, so that's adding your pictures, and then you go through and just change the text. That's the title, and this is the description. Learn more. You can change it's just a hyperlink. You can change it, and it's the button. So you can change that as well by just clicking on the word learn or more, like so. Go down to the little point to file tool. Let's say you want this button to link to a new page. Drag it over, drop it on the page, and that's where that button is going to go to when somebody clicks on it. All right, so that's replacing the default slider, adding your images of your dance shots. Now we're going to replace the logo. The logo, all I want you to do to replace the logo, open up the library file, open up shared, and the website name.lbi. See the word Kino? What I want you to do is just get rid of that. Then I want you to get your logo image, and I'm going to use an example here from the site, from the themed images and the placeholders. I'm just going to grab a pic right here, drag it onto the page like so, give it an alt text, and like this. Okay. Now I'm just going to switch back over to code view for a second, and see how the image is still highlighted in blue? If it does some weird thing like drops down here, I'm going to get you to drag this up and drop it right here where right after this animated in that little bracket. Drop it in there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a different method altogether. Get rid of the Kino and the span and the exclamation mark and the span. Get rid of all of that. Just delete that. Hit the space bar a few times so we have the class of animated, a little bit of space, and then the H3 tag to close it off, just like I'm demonstrating. Put your cursor right there in the blinking space in the middle and drag your image up and drop it right in there. This is probably a faster way to do it, just like that, right? And then I want you to just remove the width and the height, so that way it's responsive. That way it'll change with the size of the browser a little bit. All right, and hit save. When I say change with the size of the browser, that's for mobile devices and whatnot, for phones. So if you have a larger logo, it'll resize a little bit better for smaller devices. Right, so now that that's done, now let's just preview our index page, or go back to our index page here, like so, and let's just hit the refresh button, we should see an image pop up here. Now, a couple things that are not happening that we want to change is there's the border, the gray background. You probably don't really want that if you're using a graphic logo. It may work well, it may not. I'm going to show you how to remove that. I'm also going to show you how to reposition the menu buttons here to push them further over if you find that your logo is starting to creep over into the menu a little bit. Okay, so, oh, and the tagline. So let's take a look at repositioning the logo, the menu, and the tagline. Getting rid of this border here as well. I want you to go and open up the site and the styles and the fonts.css and scroll down just about halfway or so, and we're looking for the website name tag right here. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to remove that border that shows up around the website name. And oh, you know what, I've even opened up the wrong one. I'm sorry. Open up your primary and your minimized. Yeah, and you can see why I need a little bit of prep time, eh? Okay, so on the primary.css, what I want you to do is, you see the padding right here? I want you to get rid of that. Get rid of the padding, save, go to the minimized, get rid of the padding, just delete that line like so. See that? So I just click on the number beside it to delete it. All right, and then I save. Now we go back to the fonts.css and see this background color here? We need to get rid of that. Okay. And let's just save, and now let's just see what we have to work with. Let's just see what that changes. There's our image. Okay, still has a little bit of shadow, which is kind of cool, and then the tagline is down here. So what we need to do at this point really is just reposition the tagline a little bit, and if you want, you can reposition the logo a little bit as well if you don't want it stuck right up against the top of the page. So let's do those two things. Now we go back to our primary.css, and right here below what we just removed is the tagline. See the position of 105 for the top? Well, let's move that a little further from the top. So we're going to increase that number to 125. And we're just going to save, and we're going to go back and refresh and see what that does. There, that's not too bad. Okay. Obviously, if you want to update your tagline so you can sort of see how much text is going to be there, then you'll have a little bit better idea what's going to work better for you. All right. Same with the logo. If you wanted to push the logo down further from the top of the page, you can do that as well. Now you can really fine tune things because the top positioning is set to 0 for the website name. If you wanted it, say, 20 pixels from the top, you just type in 20px and save and refresh, and there it is. Now you've pushed it down 20 pixels from the top. If your logo is really long and it's starting to get into the menu and the phone number here, you can also reposition those two items just by scrolling down just a little bit more. And you see the left position of 200 and 230? Yeah, just increase that. Say change this to 300 and 330. We'll just save that. Go back to our page, hit refresh, and you see how they moved over, and now you got lots more room here. So that's how you can sort of put a logo in and reposition things to suit you exactly. And this is a situation, let's say you get it in there, you find you're not really happy, you're not sure if something went off the rails because it didn't work. That's where posting it up, I grab a copy, download it, open it up in Dreamweaver, take a look. Then I can fine tune it from that point on and help you out. All right, let's take a look at replacing the page menu items with your own. And this is going to get a little bit easier now because this one's pretty straightforward. We go to the library, the shared, and the menu top. I want you to click on any word within the menu. Double click on FAQs. Down here in the quick tag selector bar, I want you to find the tag that says UL menu. It's going to have a bunch of junk after it, but basically UL with a pound sign, then menu.menu. Click that. Now you can activate your Spry widget bar. This is really cool because watch this. Let's get rid of the enhancements. I want you to click on the word enhancements. I want you to hit the little remove menu item. And then yes, same with features. Remove it. Absolutely. Sliders. Remove. And finally pages. And remove. And look at that. All that's left is the home page. Well, you probably want to have home page as one of your buttons. I know you've said how to replace them with Dance, Spotlight, and then you want to have this one as a sub menu. I would suggest you always keep a home button there. It's just, so people can always get back to your main page. But I'll show you how to remove that later anyways. Now what you can do is we can always click that. Now you're going to click on the little plus add menu item. So we're going to add a menu item by clicking on the plus sign. See how it's added the entitled item here? Yep. Once it's been added, go to the text over here and type in the name of the button, Dance Software. For the link, what you need to do is you're going to need a page to link to. Okay, so I suggest you create a page called Dance Software. And if you're not really sure how to do that, you can go through any one of the pages in the Pages folder. In our case, I'm going to take the About page. I'm going to just open it up. I'm going to go File, Save As, Dance-Software. Notice that I used two words, all lowercase, but I've connected them with a hyphen. I'm going to name it Dance Software, and I hit Save. I'll change all the information in this page later. So, Dance Software, just for fun, I'll put the title in there right now. I'll close it down, and it'll take me back to, I'll get back to my menu top page. There's my Dance Software. Now what I can do is I can hit the Browse button, scroll through my list of, oh, there's the Dance Software page. I just click it, select OK, and now I'm done. let's add the next one, and that is Spotlight Dancers. So I'm going to cheat, go back to my menu top. I'm going to add a new button. I'm going to type in Spotlight Dancers. Now, here's the thing. If you don't want this to be a, sorry, what is this? This to me looks like it's going to be a menu button with a sub menu. And that's the case, you're not going to actually link Spotlight Dancers to a page of its own. It doesn't work very well for mobile devices if you do that. So if you have a menu with a sub menu, the top button, don't link it to a page. Just leave the pound sign the way it is. Okay, you see this? Leave that there. What you need to do is create a sub page. So we're going to select Jenna. Then we're going to, over here, while Spotlight Dancers is selected, we're going to click the little plus sign. Then we're going to add Jenna Wachota. And then what we're going to do is create a page for her we'll open up the About page once again. File, Save As, Jenna, and then I probably type in, for naming the dancers, I'd actually give them the full name, all lowercase with a hyphen connecting all the names so that it's more spiderable that way, if you want it to be spiderable. But we'll just do that for now, and then we'll just do a quick like that, just for fun. Make sure we have it. I'll go back to my menu top. There's, you see, Jenna's still selected there, and I can click on this here, and I can scroll on down, and there it is right there, and I click OK. And now I've got Home Dance Software Spotlight Dancers with a sub menu for Jenna. Okay, but if anybody clicks, if anybody hovers over Spotlight Dancers, it's not going to go to a page. It's just going to open the sub menu. Then they can select which dancer they want to view. So once you've done that, you just save and update. Excellent. Now, File, Save All. I see I have a couple of open pages there. And we can go back to our index page. I should be able just to hit refresh. And Home, Dance Software, and look. Boom. That's it. So now I've got the three buttons. And you notice that there's a little drop-down arrow automatically added to the menu bar for you to indicate that somebody should click to open up the submenu. Okay, so we're going to the other question now. The three dashes, I'm going to show you how to remove these and even how to remove the call to action if you want the testimonial slider to scooch right up. So let's go into this is our Infobox carousel component, and that's actually quite an easy update. Infobox carousel, so library components, Infobox carousel, open it up, Infobox carousel LBI. All right, and what we need to do is scroll on down, keep on scrolling, right down here. No, I lied. Those are the back and forth arrows. The three dots are right here. See this carousel indicators right here? I want you to remove these 5 lines where it says OL class of carousel indicators. Yeah, get rid of all that. Okay, that'll get rid of the 3 dots in the, oops. Let me just save my page first here. Save. And then I'll go back and hit refresh, and there we go. Indicators are now gone. But as you can see, there's still a little bit of white space here, right? Well, I use a little tool called Firebug just to figure out what it is, and it's actually the padding. So we're going to have to go into the style sheet for the carousel next and just adjust the padding. So right in here in our CSS folder, we're going to open up the Infobox carousel, and there's not too much information in here. But right down here on line 31, this number 70, let's change this to 20. And save, and we're going to go back and forth and just refresh, and that should snug things up quite nicely. There you go. So now we just have this call to action. If you don't want this call to action here, what you do is you go back to your index page, and we scroll all the way up. I'm going to give you the exact line to go to here. Wrapper, call to action. Here we go. So line 838. See this class call to action? Click on the word, double click on the word call. Div call to action wrapper. Click that and delete if you don't want it. And we save, and then we go back and then we're going to refresh, and then there we go. Things snug right up there. Okay. Now, if you want to get rid of that extra little black line, see this little thing right here? You can even go one further and see this div, this container wrapper BG10. Double click on BG10, container wrapper, delete, and save. And if you really get adventurous with the template, you'll find that you can just rip things out and put them in other places and rebuild and all that kind of stuff. And now it snugs right up there. Now, believe it or not, although this video has been about 25 minutes, it's actually taken me about 2 hours to complete, and I'll tell you why. Because about 15 minutes into the video, I realized there was an actual bug that we've been working on, and it hasn't been actually updated in this particular package yet. And that is with the parallax slider and the testimonial slider. Remember I said that earlier that they were based off the same script? Yeah, well that causes a bit of a problem. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go and I want to tell you something different here. On the index page, earlier I said for the testimonial slider, get rid of this script right here. That was incorrect information. Okay, so I will somehow have to put a note when I talk about removing the testimonial slider to not do that. What I realized is we actually have to update this. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I think we can. Hang on. Okay, good news. You don't have to worry about removing that or not removing that. What I am going to do, because I just put the video on pause again and did some more work. Yeah. That's why I like doing videos, is I can actually stop and go fix things instead of a telephone call where I get stuck and go, I'll have to get back to you. I'm going to send you an updated file. And I want you to take the file and I want you to put it into the testimonial slider folder, into the JS folder. So library, components, testimonial slider, JS. So I really hope I haven't confused you on this one, because like I said, when you find bugs, sometimes it's finding in the middle of a video is not the best thing to do. But I'm going to send you an updated jQuery testimonial slider.js file. Can you just take that and put it into this folder, and that will actually solve you having to do a whole bunch of workarounds like I just did myself, because I've just updated that file so you don't have to. And that way you can run those two components in the same folder, on the same page, without having a conflict, because I've just gone through the code and updated the script so that there is no conflict. Other than that, let me know how it goes. Post your site up to the server. We'll talk to you later.